to an opportunity to be in your kingdom in eternity, where there are no drainage issues or tax issues or anything like that, but we can bask in your glory forever with you because of what your Son, Jesus Christ, has done on the cross for us. Bless us tonight, Lord. We give you thanks and give you all the glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Mr. Bender.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair. I was asked just to ask all of us here and watching to have a moment of silence for, the families that are hurting in Florida. Obviously, the children have passed, but the families are still here enduring that which I can't imagine, horrific suffering. So let us just offer a moment of silence for those families, and also that the Lord will show our whole country the way to get away from this massive growing problem in our school system, which is evil coming inside our system. It's not within the system. Thank you. Amen.
Amen. Mr. Belisario, I believe that you have somebody to introduce for us.
Sure do. I have the honor to introduce one of my constituents' son, Lewis Cohen. Lewis, would you please come to the mic? I'll just move up here early. I want his family to stand. Leading us in the pledge is Lewis Cohen. Lewis is an 8th grade student at Boyer Junior High. He is also a St. Tammany Parish Public School Student of the Year. Lewis has maintained a perfect 4.0 GPA. I think he needs a round of applause for that.
Thank you.
He is the member of the National Junior Honor Society, a Boy Scout. He's in the robotics club, and a talented football player serving as the starting offensive tackle on the Boyer Junior High football team. Lewis is accompanied by his parents, Mark and Heather Cohn, and the principal of Boyer Junior High, Mr. John Pirol, who's standing over, and also Sharon Haas, supervisor at St. Tammany Parish School System, who also happens to be a constituent of mine. So I'm having a good night. Lewis, would you come up to the mic and start the pledge, please?
Please place your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Raymond, for coming tonight and leading us in prayer. And Lewis, thank you for coming to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Dean? Here. Mr. Fitzgerald?
Here.
Mr. Thompson?
Here.
Mr. Toledano?
Present.
Mr. Tanner?
Here.
Mr. Lorino?
Present.
Ms. Blanchard?
Present.
Mr. Groby? Oops. Mr. Canulet?
Here.
Mr. Belisario?
Here.
Ms. O'Brien? Here. Mr. Stefanczyk?
Present.
Mr. Bender? Here. Mr. Smith? Here. You have a quorum.
All right, we have presentations this month. The first. I have it. It says it's on. Can you hear now?
Yours is Lorino, the names are wrong.
Oh, okay. No wonder.
No wonder.
You weren't speaking.
I'm blank.
That'll make it difficult, but we'll figure it out. All right, so presentation. The first presentation is the proclamation to St. Tammany Parish Government Employee of the Month, led by our parish president, President Brister.
Mark, coming up with him. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. It is my pleasure once again to present our Employee of the Month. So I'm going to read a little bit. I'm going to read the proclamation. Whereas Cato Pichon was hired in August of 2004 as a temporary grass cutter in the Department of Public Works and has since worked his way up the ranks and is currently the group leader at the airport barn in Slidell. And whereas Cato is a dedicated employee and takes great pride in his work, is thorough and detailed-oriented, and is exceptional in his ability to communicate and coordinate with coworkers and residents. And whereas Cato consistently goes the extra mile for our parish residents when they are in need and will answer the call of duty anytime, day or night. And whereas Cato Pichon is an overall outstanding employee and performs his duties in an exemplary manner. We're proud to have him on our team and thank him for his service to our community and to St. Tammany Parish government. So now, Cato, I, Patricia Brister, as Parish President of St. Tammany, do hereby recognize the hard work and accomplishments of Cato Pichon as Employee of the Month, March 2018. And I encourage all employees of St. Tammany Parish to thank him for his contributions and commitments to our parish. Cato, thank you for your hard work, and congratulations. Thank you. We'll get one with Mark, too. Ronnie slow, so keep smiling. Thank you, Cato.
Thank y'all, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks.
Madam President, I believe that Mr. Smith would like to speak before we move on. Am I correct?
Sure.
Okay.
Madam Chairman, I just cannot pass up this opportunity to echo the
Oh.
sense of that presentation that the parish president bestowed upon that young man, and just say that not one piece of what she said was an exaggeration. Enough cannot be said about the exemplary performance that he shows out there as a crew leader among his peers for this parish of St. Tammany. And that speaks also volumes for Mark and everybody else who's associated with him. But I could not pass up this opportunity. He goes above and beyond the call of duty to do what is asked of him. Thank you, Cato.
Thank you, Cato.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. I agree with every word you said. Thanks.
The next item on the agenda is a presentation, Dark Matters Robotics Team, presentation by Parish President Brister.
Tonight, we have an amazing group of young people. It's the Mandeville Junior High School Dark Matter Robotics Team. So I'm going to ask all of you, come on up here with me, because we're going to get some pictures, and I'm going to read the proclamation. But while you're coming up, I'm going to read a little bit about you can go out that way and come right around here. What we're going to talk about. Dark Matter is a FIRST competition robotics team. FIRST stands for Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology. And this program is the world's leading nonprofit student organization promoting science, technology, engineering, and math, or STEM. Founded in 1989, FIRST has evolved into a global movement by preparing kids to solve the world's greatest problems. FIRST creates the people who will change the world today and tomorrow. The Dark Matter team from Mandeville Junior High, right here in St. Tammany, is currently ranked in the top 10 in the world out of 5,500 teams and number 1 in the South. The students and their advisors work hard every day to further their team standings, and we are honored to be able to recognize them tonight. So I'm going to read the proclamation, and I think everybody's kind of looked at this as they came in, and it's amazing to me that you all can do these things. But let me read the certificate of recognition first. St. Tammany Parish Government hereby commends, honors, and thanks the members of the Mandeville Junior High School Dark Matter Robotics Team. In recognition of your hard work and commitment to Mandeville Junior High School and to the Dark Matter Robotics Team, which was ranked number 1 in the world, and there will be again, out of 5,500 teams in the first FTC division. This first day of March 2018, I sign this certificate of recognition proudly. Thank you all for what you did. You tall guys, get back here with me.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah. I'll make it for you. I'm not on yet.
No.
I'm on.
Come up close, get close. Thank you. Thanks, guys, very much. That's amazing.
Can y'all hold for the mothers?
We've got more parents to take some more pictures. That's fine.
Yes, Pat, I'll ask him. Madam President?
Yes.
Madam
Yes.
President, could you ask him to just stand there for 1 second?
Sure, absolutely. Stand up here. I'm
Thank-
going to move out of your way.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen and members of the council, I'm so honored that this group of fine young ladies and young men are in District 4, which I happen to represent. And I can't believe it that you guys and girls have really put St. Tammany Parish school system up another bar. Every year we see something within St. Tammany Parish school system that makes us all proud, whether it's academics, football, baseball, whatever it is. But you, ladies and gentlemen, have really, really stepped it up. We're so proud of you. But I also have to say, I'm very proud of your parents because they're the ones that get you there every day, back and forth. And I'd like to give your parents a clap and a round of applause for making such great decisions with this fine group. So I just want to say congratulations to you and to your parents, and thank you very much.
Thank y'all for coming tonight.
They can't turn it on right now?
I don't know. No. Okay. Thank y'all. Thank y'all all for coming out tonight. We appreciate it. So that brings us now to appointments. Under number 1, a resolution to appoint 5 members to the Board of Commissions for Drainage District Number 2.
Come on.
Okay.
Chairman Blanchard would like to postpone that for 3 months. Could I have a second? Mr. Balisaro.
Okay. Please vote. Any further discussion? Please vote. Okay. All right. Is anybody missing? Mr. Canulet? Did you? Just one time. If it's blinking at you, is it blinking? You need to press it one time. He still doesn't.
It's because you hit it twice.
Everyone needs to hit the button on the bottom that says you are away, that will,
Yes.
I only press mine.
That's all you're supposed to press. Oh, it's mine. Can you let press this?
Okay.
Your vote's not being recorded.
Mr. Toledano, Mr. Tanner, now you have unchecked
You
your
just-
vote.
You want it
And
to be
Mr. Smith.
blinking at you.
Hit it again. It's not
That's
registered.
because you-
Hit the yay again, please.
Clearly, they might be able to educate them on it.
Mr. Toledano,
If you just press it one time,
press it
it'll
one
blink.
time, please, for me.
Send him,
Yes, yay.
send him back to junior
Hit the
high.
green button. There we go.
Okay. But if you do it a second time, then it
takes it
allows
off.
you to change your vote. So if you do a quick touch twice,
Now I lost Mr. Thompson. Motion is unanimous, no one absent. I'm not sure. You were showed as on mine.
it's showing he's absent, not even. Is he away? Well, okay, well, you need to tell the machine you're here. You have to tell the machine you're here. All right. Okay, are we ready to proceed forward? Has everybody marked themselves present? We're moving on to number 2, a resolution to appoint Terry Gage to replace Laura Batcheld, who resigned as representative of a private organization on the Board of Directors for Community Action Advisory Board. Okay? So we have a motion from Mr. Belisario. Is that a second from Ms. O'Brien? Any further discussion? There being none, let's try this voting thing again. Please press, if you want yes, one time. If you want no, one time. So what do I do? Mr. Thompson, they have to reboot the system for some reason. Is it a yay or nay?
Mr. Thompson anticipated a couple of controversies.
There is a yes from Mr. Thompson.
His excuse was his machine was not working.
Mr. Henderson, do you need to reboot the system at this moment, or we just need to do verbal? Yes, sir. Okay.
Motion
Okay.
is unanimous, no one absent.
We're now moving on. There's an item off of the floor. I need a motion for an appointment. Mr. Lorino has made the motion. Is there a second? There's a second by Mr. Belisario. We need a vote. It has to be unanimous to bring this item off the floor. Please vote. Again, just one time.
Red is
And Mr. Thompson, that is a yes. Okay?
Motion is unanimous, no one absent.
I don't have, where are the? So this is appointment, a resolution. I need a motion for a resolution to appoint Christy R. Thomas to fill the alternate position on the Board of Adjustments to replace Jesse Perry. Ms. O'Brien, is that a motion? And I have a second by Mr. Belisario. Any further discussion? It's item number 3 off the floor. That's what the clerk instructed me to do it in the appointments. So, any further discussion? If there being no further discussion, please vote.
Motion is unanimous, no one absent.
We now move to the consent calendar. I only have 2 items that have been asked to be polled. That's item number 10 under ordinances for introduction. That's ordinance calendar number 5957. Again, that's item number 10, calendar number 5957. Under resolutions, item number 9, and that is resolution number C-4960. Again, resolutions, item number 9, C-4960. All right, mic control. Mr. Dean, do you have anything else to pull?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Fitzgerald?
No.
Mr. Thompson? Mr. Toledano?
No, thank you.
Mr. Lorino? Okay. Mr. Grovery? Mr. Canulet?
None.
Mr. Belisario?
None.
Ms. O'Brien?
None.
None.
Mr. Bender?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Smith? Nothing. Okay. Did I miss you, Mr. Tanner? I'm sorry, I apologize. I thought I got you in there. Do you have anything you would like to pull? Thank you, Mr. Tanner. I believe that's everybody. Okay. So we need a motion.
Second.
Any item not pulled from the consent calendar are automatically approved in whole by one vote. Items pulled from the consent calendar are discussed and voted upon individually. So do I have a motion for the rest of the matters? And that was a Mr. Toledano and Mr. Belisario second. Please vote. Or, yeah.
Motion is unanimous, no one absent.
And that's a yes from Mr. Thompson. Okay. All right, we go first to item number 10. This is item number 5957, ordinance to establish the 2018 grants budget. Ms. Long.
Yes, ma'am. Ordinance calendar 5957 is the new grants that we've received during the last month. There are two of them, one for a generator at the St. Tammany Regional Airport, and the other is for an opioid site-based program, and that's related to developing the protocols.
Thank you, Ms. Long. Do I have a motion for introduction? Mr. Stefanczyk, and a second by Mr. Belisario. Any further discussion? Okay, Mr. Smith?
I think Tanner might have been ahead of me, is that right?
Can you go back into it? Mr. Tanner?
I was just going to make the motion.
Okay, you're going to make the motion. So then, Mr. Smith, you did want to discuss it.
Just as a point of information, Leslie, this $400,000 opioid site-based program grant, while we all certainly understand the significance of that, could you let us know through what agency that would be administered through?
Ms.
Or
Ravelow?
is there going to be more than one agency?
The granting agency is the Bureau of Justice Administration, but this will be a cross-collaboration grant between pretty much all the governmental agencies in the parish to establish a uniform and systematic way on how we collect and analyze data on opioid users in the criminal justice system, and then track their outcomes to show that we have better outcomes.
So as I appreciate, there'll be more than one agency that will be involved in this process to speak to that issue in the parish,
Yes.
like maybe NAMI or something like that?
That is correct. We're working with the District Attorney's Office, the Sheriff, the 22nd Judicial District Courts, Parish Government, Florida Parishes Human Services Authority, and then, yes, our advocacy groups, such as the National Alliance of Mental Illness.
Okay, and then we need Mr. Canulet.
Kelly, I have one more question. Are y'all going to meet with the other parishes once y'all develop your protocol, see if everyone's going to kind of be on board in like the tri-parish area? Ever see if we all do it the same?
Our entire mission for Safe Haven is to work with all the 5 Florida parishes, since we're looking to our lead agency, which is the Florida Parishes Human Services Authority, in general with regards to all of the protocols and new systems that we implement. But I would like to mention as well, St. Tammany Parish is also a stakeholder in a state Bureau of Justice grant for planning purposes as well. So it's all part of the same puzzle.
All right, Mr. Tanner has made the motion. And we have a second from Mr. Dean. Any further discussion? Oh, Mr. Bender, you have, I'm sorry, I didn't see you in the queue.
That's fine. Thank you, Madam Chair. Kelly, if I could, I would think that because our opioid problem, you know, it knows no boundaries. It's going everywhere. We have a lot of cities, towns, villages in our parish. They're all going to be kept aware of where this is moving and decisions that are made and so forth.
Absolutely. Part of our entire initiative for Safe Haven is to work with all the police chiefs of the municipalities as far as implementation of protocols and procedures.
Thanks very much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bender. So we had a motion by Mr. Tanner, a second by Mr. Dean, I believe. Any further discussion? I see nobody in the queue. Please vote. And Mr. Thompson, your vote is a yes.
Motion is unanimous, no one absent.
That brings us to item number 9 under resolutions. That again is C-4960, a resolution to amend ordinance CS number 17-3823 to make changes to the 2018 capital improvement budget and capital assets. Ms. Long, hold on.
Resolution,
There.
let's see. Okay, I'm sorry. Resolution C-4960 is to add projects to the capital plan. There are 2 district roads projects in District 4 and 14, Black Oak Lane and Bernard Road. And under parish-wide drainage, there's a cost share for Drainage District 2, who has FEMA funding, public assistance funding, for their pump station. And the final one on this resolution is for a grant with regard to our Stack location and for enhancements at that location. It's funded by CDBG. Oh, I'm sorry, St. Tammany Area Campus on 434, where NTCC and several other buildings are located.
Thank you, Ms. Long. We have a motion by Mr. Tanner, a second by Mr. Stefanczyk. And I do not believe, I have administration 2 in the queue. I think it just might be a, do you want to speak? Okay, so it's been cleared out. I do not see anybody in the queue, so there being no further discussion, please vote.
Mr. Thompson.
And Mr. Thompson's vote was a yes.
Motion is unanimous, no one absent.
Okay, that brings us to ordinances for adoption. Ordinance calendar number 5867AA. Ordinance to amend the Parish Code, Chapter 20, relative to parish roads, overlay projects, and capital road projects. This is Mr. Stefanczyk. Do you have a motion? Hold on there.
Motion to postpone 1 month.
And we have a second by Mr. Belisario. Seeing nobody else in the queue, please vote. Mr. Thompson was a yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Smith is a yes.
Motion is unanimous, no one absent.
Item number 2, ordinance calendar number 5923, an ordinance to amend the parish code to establish a dead, slow, no-wake zone on a portion of the Defuncta River. District 4, Mr. Lorena.
Madam Chairman,
Yeah,
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to postpone for 6 months, please.
okay. Do we? And we have a second by Mr. Thompson. Seeing nobody in the queue, please vote. And we have a yes from Mr. Thompson.
Motion is unanimous, no one absent.
Okay. Item number 3, ordinance calendar number 5936, an ordinance to extend for 6 months a moratorium on properties south of Interstate 12, north of Highway 190, west of Highway 111, east of the precinct S19 boundary line with unincorporated boundaries of Ward 9, District 14. Mr. Smith.
So moved.
Do I have a second by Mr. Bender? Seeing nobody else in the queue to speak, please vote.
Mr. Thompson.
Mr. Thompson's vote is a yes.
Motion is unanimous, no one absent.
Okay. This one is going to be. Okay. Item number 4, ordinance calendar number 5937AA, an ordinance to amend the parish code, chapter 1, 2, 24, 28, 30, and 32. Mr. Belisario, is there a motion?
So moved.
And is there a second? Second. We had a second by Mr. Bender. We do have one card, Mr. Carlos Hernandez. On this, no, 3 minutes. Yeah, I wouldn't. Please start.
Thank you. I don't think I need 3 minutes. Caller Hernandez. Looking at the ordinance, and I mentioned this to someone, hopefully there has been a response or will be a response on this. If you look at what was done, there was the various, I guess, number of costs were reduced to 1 for each one of the sections. Plus, in each one of the sections, the wording was plus court costs in the amount specified by the 22nd Judicial District Court cost schedule according to the violation. Now, if you then turn to section 36, it has a cost and then nothing after it. So what I believe happened, unless someone can explain to me why that was also was deleted, was the section regarding plus court costs in the amount specified. And so I'm presuming that that should be included as part of this, this section also. All the other sections have a cost associated, plus the wording, plus court costs, et cetera. So I believe that's an error, and I just wanted to bring that out to you so that I believe it could be, needs to be corrected. Thank you.
Call him to address it? She should be on.
I'm on.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like the copy I'm looking at, I have a section cut off, but that was a mistake. That was a clerical error.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Mr. Belsara, do you want to make an amendment to correct the clerical error? Okay. And then do we have a second?
Second.
All right. I believe then we all need to vote on the amendment. Please vote. Okay, and there's a yes from Mr. Thompson.
Motion is unanimous, no one absent.
The amendment is unanimous. So the motion, I believe, has already been, we've already got a first and a second, subject to the amendment. Seeing nobody in, oh, Mr. Stefanczyk would like to speak. Did you turn yours on?
No, don't press.
I just want to, this is a follow-up to what we did last month. Last month, we did all the private subdivision stuff, and this month, we're doing the public stuff. And I think that this will eliminate some of the log jams in our court system where people have to stay outside the misdemeanor court all day to let a judge determine what the cost is going to be. This is set the cost so they would be able to pay them without having to wait for a judge all day. They could pay them either ahead of time or pay them, come up to the courthouse and pay them and leave, and they've paid their fine. But if they want to see the judge, they can stay in line and see the judge when their name's called. So, thank you.
So, without anybody else in the queue to speak, there be no further discussion. Please vote.
Mr. Belisario, Mr. Stefanczyk? Mr. Thompson?
And Mr. Thompson is a yes.
Motion is unanimous, no one absent.
That brings us to item number 5, ordinance calendar number 5938, an ordinance to amend the Parish Code, Chapter 30 regarding Tammany Trace rules and regulations. Mr. Stefanczyk.
I'll move to approve, and then I'll speak on it.
Okay. Do I have a second? I have a second from Mr. Belisario. Mr. Stefanczyk, if you'd like to start the discussion.
Yeah, this is just bringing our use of guns on the Tammany Trace in compliance with state and federal regulations. That's all this does.
Thank you. Seeing there's no other person that has asked to speak in the queue, no further discussion, please vote.
Motion is unanimous, no one absent.
And Mr. Thompson was a yes. That brings us to item number 6. An ordinance calendar number 5939, an ordinance amending the official parish zoning map to reclassify 9,300 square feet from A3 to A3 in MHO, Ward 9, District 12.
So moved.
Okay. And we have a second from Mr. Smith. Seeing nobody in the queue and nobody requesting further discussion, please vote.
Okay.
The motion. motion.
Motion is unanimous, no one absent.
Item number 7, ordinance count number 5940, an ordinance amending the official parish zoning map to reclassify 10,277 square feet from A6 to A4-A, Ward 9, District 13. Mr. Loreno makes the motion. Is there a second? Mr. Stefanczyk? There being no discussion, please vote. Mr. Thompson, that's a yes.
Motion is unanimous, no one absent.
That brings us to item number 8, ordinance count number 5941, an ordinance amending the official parish zoning map to reclassify 4 acres from A1 to A1 and MHO. Mr. Thompson?
So moved.
And do we have a second? Mr. Loreno, second. Seeing nobody in the queue, no further discussion, please vote. And that's a yes by Mr. Thompson.
Motion is unanimous, no one absent.
That brings us to item number 9, an ordinance count number 5942, an ordinance amending the official parish zoning map to reclassify 2.32 acres from CB-1 to MD-2. Mr. Fitzgerald,
So moved.
we have a motion, and we have a second by Mr. Thompson. I see nobody in the queue. Any further discussion? Please vote. And we have a yes by Mr. Thompson.
Motion is unanimous, no one absent.
Item number 10, ordinance count number 5943, an ordinance amending the official parish zoning map to reclassify 6.78 acres from A-4 and a PUD to MD-2. Mr. Fitzgerald?
So moved.
Okay, and we have a second from Mr. Thompson. Nobody in the queue, so it appears there's no further discussion. Please vote. And Mr. Thompson, that is a yes from Mr. Thompson.
Motion is unanimous, no one absent.
Okay, we have number 11, ordinance count number 5944, an ordinance amending the official parish zoning map to reclassify 14,000 square feet from A-4 to A-4 and MHO. Mr. Fitzgerald?
So moved.
It's been moved, and we have a second by Mr. Thompson.
Seemed to be a nice guy.
Nobody's in the queue for discussion. Please vote. And Mr. Thompson is a yes vote.
Motion is unanimous, no one absent.
That brings us to item number 12, an ordinance count number 5945, AA, ordinance to authorize the parish president to acquire additional parcels, right-of-ways, and servitudes for the lower W15 area drainage project. Mr. Bellisario?
So moved.
And do I have a second? Mr. Smith? Seeing nobody in the queue for discussion, please vote. Mr. Thompson is a yes vote.
Motion is unanimous, no one absent.
Item number 13, ordinance count number 5946, an ordinance to amend the 2018 operating budget, amendment number 2. Mr. Tanner?
So moved.
And is there a second? Mr. Loreno? Seeing nobody in the queue for discussion, please vote.
Mr. Thompson?
Mr. Thompson, I'm sorry. It's a yes vote.
Motion is unanimous, no one absent.
That brings us to item number 14, ordinance count number 5947, ordinance to amend the 2017 to 2021 capital improvement budget and capital assets. Mr. Tanner?
So moved.
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Toledano. Seeing no further discussion, nobody in the queue, please vote.
Sorry.
No.
With a yes vote for Mr. Thompson, motion is unanimous, no one absent.
Thank you. All right. Under procedure, since we've already opened matters off the floor, do we have to make a new motion, Madam Clerk? Because I
As
don't know if we made a
long-
motion to close.
No, we did not close it, so we
So
should
we
not
don't need a
to
motion.
open it again.
Right, Mr. Hand? So we can move on to, item number 1. There's item 1 and 2. Item number 1, and, is that correct? Mr. Hand? Okay, item number 1, an ordinance amending ordinance council series number 16-3627 to correct the legal description of 82.759 acres from A-1 to A-3. Ward 1, District 3.
Wait, I'm
Wait,
sorry.
Did I miss?
That's the, no, you didn't, I did. That's the
Okay.
wrong,
All right.
they changed the title, and I did not change it on this document.
Maybe I look, do you want to give me the one that?
Yeah.
Is it different on the handout?
Yes. Well, this one.
Here, okay, so, I mean, is this,
Yes, they
that's
changed
what
the
you
title.
need me to read? Okay.
Unfortunately.
I'll read this again. Ordinance amending the official zoning map of St. Tammany Parish, Louisiana, reclassify a certain parcel located on the south side of US Highway 190, west of Louisiana Highway 1077, in which property comprises a total of 3.592 acres of land, more or less, from its present A1 suburban district to an A3 suburban district, Ward 1, District 3.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Thompson, seconded by Mr. Toledano. Seeing nobody in the queue for discussion, that's all we need. We don't have to, a motion and second, that's it? Okay, it's on an introduction, all right. Got it. Okay, item number 2, an ordinance amending an ordinance council series number 16-3628, adopted November 3rd, 2016, to correct the legal description of 82.759 acres located south of Highway 190, west of Highway 1077, from A1 suburban district to A-3 suburban district in a PUD plan unit development overlay, and to amend the official zoning map to reclassify an additional and corresponding 3.592 acres from A-1 suburban district to A-3 suburban district and a PUD planned unit development overlay, and to reclassify a corresponding reduce 3.243 acres from A-3 suburban district in a PUD planned unit development overlay to A-3 suburban district, Ward 1, District 3. Mr. Thompson.
So move.
And is there a second? Mr. Fitzgerald, Mr. Dean, would you like to second?
No, I tried to.
I know, they beat you to it. I do see you. They just beat you to it. It is a second by Mr. Dean tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
Dean.
Seeing nobody in the queue and no further discussion, that's all we need for that. That's it. I guess we go to a motion to adjourn. So moved by Mr. Belisario. A second by Mr. Dean. Good night.